Look, I'm wearing a jumper. Well, it is winter, so yeah, same t-shirt. So if you guys watched my last, you would have been aware that I'm recording this on the same day. Don't tell anyone else. Shh. Anyway, for those of you who haven't met me, my name is Andrew. I am from the Pewter Wolf, and the lovely people from the Bookish Brits asked if I would like to do a video for you guys. And in the last video, I wore my glasses and looked like I was, what's the right word to describe it, how I feel? A bit like a mole. So, took my glasses off, a bit more eagle-eyed, and I'm here to chat to you about some books, there's my glasses falling on, about some books that I'm looking forward to in 2014. I'm going to try and not do the typical choices, because there's going to be loads of books we all want from next year. So I have books, not proofs, so I've only got 1 or 2 proofs. But I just thought I could show you the covers of them, you know, in the UK or whatever, and chat to some off the top of my head, if any pop in during this video. So this will be long and tedious, so if you want to go grab a coffee and then come back, you can. You can pause it or just risk it. So, where do you want to start? I'm going to start with the freaky cover. I say freaky, I think slush. This is the first book in the series. This is Pantomime, and I'm talking about the sequel. And the reason I want to show you Pantomime is because Pantomime is by Laura Lamb. So here's the cover. And if you have, this came out earlier this year, in 2013. I forgot what year it is. Yeah, this is going well. If you haven't read this book, why haven't you? This book is so... I've never read any book like this, ever. This is so unique, so amazing. It's high fantasy, but it's very, very real. There's something quite interesting about it. And I've never met a main character like the character in here, so I'm not going to say much more on that, but this is the first book in the series. The second book in the series is called Shadow Play, and it continues on from where it ended. And I really need to know what happens next. I really need to know. It's just these characters and the situation and the world building. It's so... I am so glad that I was given this for Secret Santa last year from another book blogger, and I've been begging to get my hands on this book, so of course I'm going to love this book. Of course I'm going to love this book. And of course this is going to be one of my you have to get your hands on this for 2014. So yes, if you haven't read Pantomime, go for it. If you have, get Shadow Play, because I will be reading that very, very soon. And I'm excited and terrified, because what are you going to do to the characters? What are you going to do? No, don't put them through too much torture, please. That's all I ask. Yeah, let's go for these two. Let's go for these two, because I've got them. I can't show you the colours. And, as you probably can tell, Bomb Maker. This is by Claire McFall, whose first book, Ferrymen, Standalone, came out earlier in the year. And this is coming out February of 2014. It's just sounds so interesting. It's a standalone book which talks about terrorism. See, you're going to see all my mistakes. So terrorism, national identity, and asking questions that are quite relevant, because I think in 2014, May time, Scotland are going to go into referendum to ask whether to be a separate state or to stay in the United Kingdom. So I think the timing of this book is really, really good. It's as if the author knew. It's as if we planned it all along. So the basic outline is the economic climate has taken England to such a dark place, very, very dark. So the government, in its brilliant brainwave moment, decided to close all borders with what they class as the Celtic neighbours, so Scotland, Wales and Ireland. So England has all the money and Wales, Scotland and Ireland don't, so it's very, very hard to get any jobs. It's basically to survive. If you're in these countries, you are instantly, like, almost overnight become a third world country. And England has turned around and said, right, if any people from these countries come into England once and they don't have a visa, we will brand them and we throw them back in the country, back into their country of birth. come back again and we see the brand, you will be shot on sight. Yeah, so, helpful, in a sense. So, the main character, I've not read much about this, so I know the allies, but I've got no memory of names. Lizzie is Scottish, she's branded, she's in London, and the police spot her, and she is going to get shot. So she runs away. And at the very last minute, she is saved by this very shady character called Alexander, who saves her, but then in doing so, turns her into property. She is now his property. And things begin to happen where she realises that he's a freedom fighter, where he wants to reunite the UK. And because of her technology, and somehow she's very good at wire, so she turns into his bomb maker. So it's this and it's basically that. How does she get into this situation? How on earth will she get out of it if she can, and who can she trust to do so? I'm very excited to read this. I think politically and the news-wise, this book is so cleverly timed. And I'm really intrigued to figure out how it's going to be, how this is going to work. And it's quite frightening because we're still in not a double-digit recession, but the economic climate is still very unsafe. It's not predictable, so this should make quite scary late-night reading. And the third, I'm so excited to talk about this book because I talked about it very briefly on my blog, and I love it. This is the proof. This is not the real cover. It's Tribute by Ellen Rena? Don't know. It's the first book, I think, in a duology, so there should be a sequel and that's it. I feel like I should be holding the book like on QVC, like, I should have false, scary nails on so I can do the claw. It's an you're in a world with magic, so if you have magic, you are very powerful. You're like one of the elite, and if you don't have magic, so in the world of Harry Potter, a muggle, you are basically a slave. You have no rights whatsoever. And also in this world, it is illegal to be literate. So if you can read, you are breaking the law and you will be punished. And Zara is a mage, and then her best friend gets shot or beheaded. She dies. She is murdered because she can read. And Zara is so horrified by this. She goes and becomes a member or a spy for a rebel agency called the Knowledge Seekers. And then it all begins to hit the fan from there, because she's got to figure out what side she's really on. When she finds out more about morals, there's a maker a boy that's involved, and then her cover then gets blown. So of course, everything hits the fan, and it just sounds good. It sounds dark and creepy, but it sounds brilliant at the same time. I think the publishers described this as a cross between Divergent and the Tracy Caravan writing, so Age of 5, Magician's Guild. So if you're a fan of either of those and want them sort of merge of the two, this is the book you need to get your hands on. And this comes out in March, so go and get your pre-order back. Oh, pre-orders, that reminds me. There is a book coming out from another YA, a debut author called Liz de Jager. I think it's 1G, not 2, so Jager, called Banish. It's the first book in a series, and I don't know what the book is about. The reason is she's a book blogger. She was a book blogger, then she's becoming an author, and I love her. She was one of the first people who introduced me to the world of blogging and welcomed me. So pre-ordered that, no questions asked. Just welcomes me in. So of course I just pre-ordered the book, and it is called Banish. What is the series called? You guys usually know the answer, so leave comments there or wherever Google Plus decides to move things about, because Google can't make up their mind. Yeah, let's do Maggie Steele. As you guys are probably aware, if you're huge Maggie fans, and I sense some of you are, she has written the 4th book in the Wolves of Mercy Falls series, which is Sinner, which is told from Cole and Isabel's points of view. And we meet Cole and Isabel from Linger and Fever, which is the 2nd and 3rd. But I'm just going to show you the covers. Which is the first book. So this is the American, which is blue. and this is the British. So similar but not similar at the same time. And it's basically what happened after book 3. So we should have some resolution on their love story, because as much as I loved them, they were frustrating characters. Some of you guys will be interested about this. This is Panic. This is the book by Lauren Oliver. I haven't read Lauren Oliver. I tried to read Divergent. That's why she wrote Divergent. She's Veronica Roth in disguise. Delirium. I always get those two muddled. She read Delirium. I got halfway through Delirium and just couldn't do it anymore. I got very frustrated with the characters. So this is a standalone, and this is very interesting. It's about a small town which then do dares, like a dare system, and the dares get more extreme and more dangerous, and these two characters get involved, and things begin to happen. So of course, a love story in the middle of it. I'm trying to think of any book which I think you guys will probably pre-order. So I'm not talking about 4, which is a collection of short stories by Veronica Roth. I think it's Divergent. I'm trying not to think of the next J.K. Rowling book, which is the second Robert Galbraith. I'm not mentioning in City of Heavenly Fire because I haven't read books 4 and 5, because I still don't know how I feel about the trilogy being sent into books of 6. The main one I do want to talk, and I've not talked about James Dawson and Tanya Burke and Kat Clark, who wrote the amazing books such as Heart-Shaped Bruise, Cruel Summer, Undone, because if you haven't read these authors, then you should. You should read Heart-Shaped Bruise, read Undone, or Entangled if you've got a friend, and with James Dawson, read Cruel Summer, because basically that's just taking a mickey out of, Scream. So their new books are... Actually, Tanya hasn't revealed hers. Kat has, and I can't remember, but James is saying her name, which is taking the mickey out of a ghost story, which basically you stare in the mirror and say her name 3 times, she'll come out the mirror and try to kill you. Yeah, so that's going to be nice fun reading. But the one I do want to talk about, because the one I'm quite excited over, is the 4th book in the Old Kingdom series, written by Gareth Nix, which is... Let's see if I can butcher this name. I always want to say Coraline, but I'm pretty certain that's wrong. That is wrong, because that's the name of Gareth. That's Neil Gaiman. Anyway, he should be in charge of Doctor Who. Or write another Doctor Who episode. Please, Neil Gaiman, if you're watching. Sabriel. It ends with L. So, Coralel. Let's say Coralel or Clariel. Which however you want to prefer, and still put it. Because it's definitely happening. After how many years it's been pushed off, it's been now, it looks like it's going to come out in September 2014. It is actually it's changed publishing houses now with Hotkey rather than HarperCollins in the UK. And I'm very excited because this is a prequel talking about a character we meet in Abhorsen called the Clay of the Mask, who apparently was an Abhorsen who went to the dark side. Why do we have this sudden fascination to know how a bad person turns bad? Is it us? Do we want to know? And I'm quite excited over this book. Sorry, back tangent, now I'm back. My only real fear is because it's changed publishing houses. I want please make the covers stick. There's nothing we readers hate more than if a cover doesn't stick. Like these, I've got the hardbacks. Yeah, this is how geeky I can be when I want to be. These are the UK hardback editions. I think this is the adult edition in America, but don't they look pretty? So, can you make them kind of speak, or close to as possible? Close to is enough. So yes, that's going to be fun, or terrifying, depending on how you view it. I'm trying to think if there's any others. Damn, there's 2 I haven't talked about. One is the second book in the Name of the Blade series, which is by Zoe I want to say Marconi, that's not right. How do you pronounce your name, Zoe? It's so hard. The second name in the series, I think it's The Darkness Within. I know the first book is called The Night Itself. I think it's The Darkness something. Because I just love that book. I just love the first book and I want to continue. And the second which I think I might have I hope it's coming this next year, otherwise I'm really confused myself, is the sequel to Wild Boy by Rob Lloyd-Jones. How much confidence have I think that book's going to come out? But I really hope that comes out this year because I love that book. There's loads of books coming out in 2014. There's loads. There's quite. But I want to chat to you guys. What are your books? What are you looking forward to reading in 2014? Is there any book that you're excited to read? Is there any books you're not excited to read? Is there any books that you've heard of but you want to talk about it, or you want someone to say, yes, that's a good read, or no, that's not good, because this is what this is about. We want to talk about exciting books. So, comment down below if you want any quotes about books. If you like what the channel is doing so far, which is being bookish and British and weird and like that, subscribe. If you like the video, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. More thumbs up than thumbs down would be great. And hopefully I will see you all again soon, if I'm allowed to do another book video type thing. If my eyes are wide enough to deal with it. If not, I will just turn off by having this tick us out. Yeah, I'm a bit sad and I've got nothing better to do with my day, so bye. That's unexpected ending for you.